Yeah, so I'll kind of spill the beans a little bit on us too. So we have a test that measures these things, by the way. So if anyone's interested, reach out to us. But we measure ourselves. We measure ourselves on occasion to see where we're at. We came from a more freelancer background, the three of us at a certain point, as we were forming Three Peak. And in that role, and when we measured ourselves, we all came out in the rebel profile. And there's some
Hmm.
beauty to the rebel profile, which is I pick and choose what I want to do when I want to do it. And I'm really good with ambiguity because I have this kind of independence thing that's developed. And then as we moved into running a company, what we very consciously and intentionally realized, communicated with each other, and then made behavioral changes, is that we needed to exert more control, which is we needed to take more ownership and responsibility of the different functions of our company. And it's a startup, so we have to be on top of stuff. And we all each opened up to taking more feedback from each other over time. So we loosened up on both sides. We are able to get more in our hands, and we're able to relax into sometimes being a leader and sometimes being a follower of each other. And we do that, I think, quite beautifully at this point in time. What I
Hmm.
noticed in myself is that it took me more energy to exert more control. So, kind of being the more cool guy, the rebel, the like running around, it's like it didn't require as much self management because I wasn't doing as much. Now, when I'm have my hands in stuff and I'm running stuff and I'm running the company, I feel that I need to expend more energy. So I need to almost build more energy and take care of myself in a different way. Mazen, have you noticed? Because I know we're all in this, but as a fellow former rebel who is now really in a very more mature leadership role in a company, what have you noticed about the differences in you as you have changed your relationship to control?
I would really say from a psychological perspective is that was running the show deep down to make me in that profile is fully not fully committing in a sense of yes, I said yes to all of that, but not totality in my commitment because I found like the glitch in the matrix when you do not commit 100%, you there's an illusion I'm not that responsible. So I wait until the other also rise to power with me, so I don't have to take the full blame or the full thing. Like it's too much for me. I don't wanna deal with that. It's more of a kind of yeah, like kind of a escapism strategy in the rebel. Uh, and now, actually, what I see very, very clear is commitment. Like the amount of commitment, but I cannot separate the word commitment and responsibility. I start to see them interchanging, and it started to be empowering in a sense. Oh my goodness, if I do not do it, I cannot expect them to do it. And then from there comes communication. So once I worked with commitment, so with me fully not be hands off but hands on, I slowly went naturally go to the other thing, which is communicating it. So they are very one and the same, similar profile, like this very aloof, relaxed leader that also independent, doesn't want to hear feedback. Actually, it has to do with commitment and responsibilities. But the more commitment and responsibility is taken, the more easy will be to communicate, and the more easy to start asking for the communication back to understand what's happening. So that's what I can say for now.
I'll share with me before asking Krisana her experience is for me, one of the underpinning motivations for being a rebel profile leader is, I mean, this is a whole probably other podcast episode, but I have a lot of complicated relationships with control and other people and control and my upbringing and what I perceive control as something that hurts people. And that was the mindset I had, the belief system. So my belief system was if I exert control, then I'm going to hurt someone else. Ironically, the only people who I would be quote unquote stepping on their toes are probably other fellow rebels who are also rejecting the. But anyone else outside of the rebel profile, if you as a leader show direction, you're doing your job. And I've started to come to realize with my clients, with our teams, our people, when I show direction, people relax. It's actually a huge benefit to the individual who's part of the mission, who's part of the organization. And so that was a big belief system I had to unwind for me, is that actually people feel safe when you show direction and leadership. You're not harming people by saying we're going in this direction. The only people who are going to freak out are people like younger versions of me who are rebels. And they have, I kindly would suggest to my younger self, you have some processing to do to unwind some of those things. Krisana, you're also someone that, at least when we measured it, when we first started Three Peak, had a more of a rebel profile. We've remeasured it now. We can say that we've killed off our inner rebels for now, at least. What has the transition looked like for you as you now are the founder of this company? You're running things. What has it felt like for you to kind of change your relationship with the amount of control that we exert?
First of all, I think when I did that, the rebel profile and I was high rebel is because I had had a company before and I had come from like, okay, I need to have very clear boundaries. So I kept myself in my rebel space with like, I don't want people too close into my boundaries. So I create a rebel. I was really good at directing and leading. And then I know when I did it, I was more hands off, like, okay, I've got to bring in other people to, they're going to lead too. I'm not going to direct all the time. For me, what changed was stepping into the space to be in my role and in my position where we're taking on many roles and tasks at the moment is to again meet people, because I know I have quite a good talent of rapport with people, and I took that step again to give open not give myself open myself up. I was a bit more like, "Yeah," that's been touched, a lot of vulnerability, so I was protecting the lion's heart. So the lion's heart is open. So it was more of letting go of any fear that might happen, and just, but also having flexible boundaries and also making an organization around myself and direction. So that's where I see, and I do know it's for the benefit of this company, for us to move forward, to take on these roles, and this is part of the position I'm in at this moment, and I love to do this and meet people.